Welcome to Haunting History, the podcast that reaches back into the past for the events that shocked everyone. Tales of true crime, mystery, and the macabre. And when we're lucky, the stories were history and the people who lived it and the paranormal meet. Now, who doesn't love a good ghost story, right? And following is our first ever episode. So here we are at Season 1, Episode 1, The Cecil Hotel. As I mentioned in the trailer, my co-host will change randomly between Haley and Tress. Today, it's Haley who's joining me for this episode. Haley, you want to tell them what we're talking about?
Hey everyone, we are going to get into all the history and happenings at the Hotel Cecil in Los Angeles, California. Just by doing a simple Google search of the hotel, you will find page after page on this Southern California landmark. It's the infamous Los Angeles hotel that several serial killers called home. And it's been the site of at least 20 gruesome and violent deaths resulting from suicide, accident, or murder. Some solved, some unsolved. When trying to decide on our first podcast, we looked at all the strange and haunted locations we knew about, and some we just learned about, but none compared to the Cecil. It's filled with a history of murder and mayhem, so it was a no-brainer for our first episode.
Okay, do you know, Haley, any of the history of the hotel?
I know, the murders and the creepy stuff, but that's it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the actual history because we all know that's my wheelhouse. The Hotel Cecil was built in 1924 by William Banks Hanner and designed by Loy Lester Smith. The hotel itself was opulent, with a marble lobby and stained glass windows, and it boasted 700 rooms on its 14 floors. It was designed to be a fashionable destination, although once considered an upscale hotel, most of the rooms did not even include a private bath. Can you even imagine?
No, I came home in college so that I could have my own bathroom again.
In spite of the fact that the hotel opened within minutes of the Great Depression, it remained the place to stay through the 1940s. During the 1950s, the hotel started its serious decline. As Skid Row became increasingly popular with the homeless, the Cecil, as it was commonly referred to, became known as a residence for transients. In 2007, new owners attempted to turn the old building back into a moneymaker, but its location worked against it. In 2011, the hotel was rebranded as Stay on Main, and then in 2014, it was sold to Richard Bourne for $30 million. The New York-based firm of Simon Barron Development acquired a 90-year ground lease on the property. The company states that it's committed to preserve the architecturally and historic components, including that grand lobby. It's currently closed and undergoing renovation, which I know for a fact because Tressa and I called to make a room reservation.
You guys were really going to go stay there?
100%. And we'll probably ask for the most haunted room, make it halfway through the night, and leave. We want to see it for ourselves. I had actually been to the Cecil. I never actually went inside, but I was there sometime in the 90s. My friends I went with didn't want to go in, and now after all the research I've done, it's something I really have to see for myself. With a projected opening date in 2019, the company plans to install a rooftop pool, gym, and lounge. I can't imagine people are going to be flocking to see the marble lobby, as it's far more well known as a destination for researchers of the paranormal, including us. You're not going to go with us? You know you're going to go with us.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you're probably going to go with us. In 2017, the Los Angeles City Council voted to deem the Cecil a historic cultural monument. But what changed the hotel as being a fashionable destination to that of Suicide Hotel? There's many hotels in the area. Why did the Cecil become the hotspot for negative energy and happenings? Although the first suicide didn't occur until 1931, the hotel had its run-ins before that. In 1927, John Cornier was arrested in his room for running from police for stealing a diamond hairpin at the Roslyn Hotel. In April of 1929, a 33-year-old woman from San Francisco named Dorothy Robertson was taken to the hospital after wandering around the hotel for 3 days. According to reports at the time, she was distraught over the sudden death of her husband. A year later, a truck driver was fatally pinned against the hotel by a large truck and killed. Continuing on that, an elderly Cecil resident attempted to shoot himself in Westlake Park, and an elderly woman tenant was found drowned in the ocean. Okay, so that's all the stuff that's written in little blurbs of history. But what we wanted to give you was a list of all the actual deaths associated with the Cecil in more detail. Haley, what we'll do is we'll take turns reading them because buckle up. There's a lot of them. You go first, Haley.
All right, so in 1931, Manhattan Beach resident W.K. Norton, 46 years old, was found dead in his room after ingesting poison capsules. A week prior, Norton had checked into the Cecil under the name James Willie from Chicago.
In September of 1932, a maid found Benjamin Dodich, 25, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. He did not leave a suicide note.
In late July 1934, former Army Medical Corps Sergeant Louis D. Borden, 53, was found dead in his room at the Cecil. He had slashed his throat with a razor. Borden left several notes, one of which cited poor health as a reason for his suicide.
In March of 1937, Grace E. Magro fell from the 9th-story window. Her fall was broken by telephone wires which had wrapped around her body. She later died at the hospital. Police were unable to determine whether Magro's death was a result of an accident or a suicide. I wonder how that happened. Like, she jumped onto the wires and they, like... I was thinking telephone wires electrocuted you, but they don't, do they?
I think they do.
No, I don't think they do. They're telephone wires. They're not electrical wires.
I don't know what telephone wires look like at 24. I know what cell towers look like.
But I really don't think they're electric. But, like, in my mind, picturing that, she fell and was, like, electrocuted, falling down. But I don't know, maybe someone can email us and tell us how stupid I am for thinking that telephone wires are electrified.
I have no idea. But moving on, in January 1938, Marine fireman Roy Thomas, 35, jumped from the Cecil's top floor and was found on the skylight of a neighboring building. He had been staying at the Cecil for several weeks.
See, like him. Like, how did someone find him? Like, they were just standing under the skylight and they're like, look, there's a body up there?
I don't know. You'd be able to hear someone jumping from a floor and landing on a skylight.
And how did it not break? Like, what was it made out of that? He just landed.
True. I don't know.
Really weird. In 1939, Navy officer Irwin C. Neblett, 39, was found dead in his room after ingesting poison.
In January 1940, teacher Dorothy Skeeger, 45, ingested poison. There's a lot of people ingesting poison.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Does that happen anymore? Like suicide? Is that normal?
I don't know. I picture poison as, like, they're drinking out of a bottle with, like, a skull and crossbones on it. Okay. Like, I mean, could they be ingesting things that are just not...
Like bleach.
Like, well, yeah, I didn't even go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking more like pills or things that were not prescribed. It wouldn't be poison then.
No.
First telephone wires, then poison. Yeah, they could be drinking things like bleach or Drano, or if they had Drano back in 1939, I don't know.
Right. Okay, so whatever poison Dorothy Skeeger used at 45, she drank it, staying at the Cecil, and was reported by the Los Angeles Times to be near death. No further reports were published about Skeeger's condition. We did a quick ancestry search that says teacher Dorothy Seeger poisoned herself at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles and succumbed on January 12, 1940. For some odd reason, her name appears as Dorothy Skeeger in everything written about the Cecil Hotel, but her name was actually Seeger.
Which is really interesting because someone actually has her in their family tree. And I should have looked more because I wonder if it was someone's aunt or something. I wonder if 45, she could have children. That could be how she ended up in that family tree. But they have a little blurb about her committing suicide at the Cecil Hotel and a rather indignant post about the fact that her name was spelled incorrectly.
That's interesting.
Maybe we'll do a little bit more research on Miss Dorothy Seeger. Okay, this one seriously creeps me out and breaks my heart. I mean, they all make me sad, but this one really, really breaks my heart. In September of 1944... Dorothy Jean Purcell, 19, was sharing a room at the Cecil with a shoe salesman, Ben Levine, 38. Purcell, who had apparently been unaware that she was pregnant, went into labor. Purcell later testified that she did not want to disrupt the sleeping Levine, so she went to the bathroom where she gave birth to a baby boy. Thinking the baby was dead, Purcell threw him out the window where he landed on the roof of an adjacent building.
Oh my God.
It's like seriously hard to even read. Purcell was charged with murder. 3 psychiatrists testified that Purcell was mentally confused at the time of the incident. In January of 1945, she was found not guilty by reason of insanity. She's 19, in a hotel room with a 38-year-old, pregnant.
Yeah. I was 19 dating a 21-year-old and my dad almost had a stroke.
I know, that just seems insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine, what her life was like. At 19, she was already pregnant in 1944. And then she went to trial. Like, where were her parents?
Yeah, I don't know.
She was found not guilty by reason of insanity. I did a little bit of a search on her in Ancestry, and I actually can't find her after 1940. She could have changed her name. Even if she was institutionalized, she would be in the 19... Oh, now I know why.
Would she be on, like, the, like, mental hospitals, though? Like, did they take...
No, they did. But the 1950 census is not out yet. So the next... This happened in 1944. The next census would have been 1950, and we can't look at those yet. They're not available yet.
No,
so I don't...
That's how that worked. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's why I just realized that. But, like, I didn't see any marriage records for her or anything either, so I don't know what... I didn't find a death record. I don't know. I did find her in 1930 living with, I believe, her mom and some boarders. So, I don't know. That's sad. That one makes me sad. Go ahead.
Okay. In November 1947, Robert Smith, 35, died after jumping from one of Cecil's 7th floor windows.
Wow, jumpers. On October 22nd, 1954, a woman plunged to her death from a 7th-story window of a downtown hotel, a newspaper said, her body landing atop the hotel marquee above the heads of pedestrians on busy Main Street. Police identified her from cards in her purse as Mrs. Helen C. Gurney, about 55, an employee of a San Diego stationery firm. Officials of the Hotel Cecil said she had registered as Margaret Brown of Denver when she had checked into room 704 a week ago. Hundreds of spectators gathered as firemen and ambulance attendants put a ladder up to the marquee and lowered the body. Shortly afterward, the police were called to the lobby of the Philharmonic Auditorium to aid a man who seemed to be hysterical, and they said he told them he had just been unnerved by witnessing the woman's death.
On February 11th, 1962, Julia Frances Moore, 50, jumped from the window of her 8th floor room and landed in a 2nd-story interior light well. Moore did not leave a suicide note. Among her possessions were a bus ticket from St. Louis, 59 cents in change, and an Illinois bank book showing a balance of $1,800. Was that a lot of money back then?
That was a ton. Yeah, $1,800. That's a lot of money now, but I mean, $1,800 for a woman traveling by herself. Yeah. Does it say what she did? It doesn't say what she did. I wonder what she was. She didn't leave a suicide note. 50. I don't know. That's sad. On this one's bad. On October 12th, 1962, I say that like they're not all bad. They're all really bad. On October 12th, 1962, Pauline Otten, 27, she was only 27, jumped from the window of her 9th floor room after an argument with her estranged husband, Dewey. Dewey had left the room prior to Otten's, her name's Otten, suicide. Otten landed on a pedestrian. Poor man, George Giannani, 65, killing them both instantly. As there were no witnesses, police initially had thought that Otten and Giannani had committed suicide together. However, it was soon determined that Giannani had his hands in his pocket at the time of his death and was still wearing his shoes. Now get this. They determined had he jumped, his shoes would have likely fallen off during the fall or upon impact. I mean, like...
That's a gross scientific fact to include.
No, it really is. The creepy thing is this poor man, casually walking down the street, his hands in his pocket, just walking down the street, some chick just lands on him and kills him instantly. Like, I mean, like, what do you have to have done wrong in life to be...
receive that kind of karma?
To like, die like that. You're just walking down the street with your hands in your pocket and some lady just jumps and lands on top of you.
I don't know.
Go.
On June 4th, 1964, a hotel worker discovered Pigeon Goldie Osgood, a retired telephone operator, dead in her room. She had been raped, stabbed, and beaten, and her room was ransacked. Osgood was well known around the area and had earned her nickname because she fed birds in nearby Pershing Square. Near her body was a Los Angeles Dodgers cap she always wore and a paper sack full of bird seed. Hours after her murder, Jack B.
Ehrlinger.
Who knows? 29, he killed someone, it doesn't matter, was seen walking through Pershing Square, the area in which Osgood fed the birds in blood-stained clothing. He was arrested and charged with Osgood's murder, but was later cleared of the crime. Osgood's murder remains unsolved.
See, you should have said his name right. He actually didn't do it.
No, he's walking around in blood-stained clothing. What did he do?
No, I don't know, too. And,
there's not... You can't come to many conclusions walking around with blood on your clothes. That you killed someone, probably.
I wonder... See, they didn't have DNA like they do now.
No.
They could have, tested his shirt. And that's so sad. Her murder remains unsolved. And we've been reading, and all of them all of them so far have been suicides. Hers is the one where she didn't take her own life. Someone else decided.
Well, except for George Gianni. He was an innocent bystander.
He was an innocent bystander. But she's the first one who wasn't... She didn't take her own life. She's the first one that someone took her life. Moving on. Because there's more. On December 20th, 1975, a still unidentified woman. Still unidentified. You need to get her on that Facebook page.
What?
There's a Facebook page for, missing Jane Does.
From back in 1975, too?
Well, they just solved one from 1983 or something, so why not? I mean, it's only an 8-year difference. Why not?
I don't know.
I mean, I would think that they would... I kind of want to look... I want to see if there's any articles about her, because she's still unidentified, a million years later. So anyways, a still unidentified woman jumped from her 12th floor window. I think she's the one who jumped the highest, too. Onto the Cecil's second floor.
You act like it's some kind of competition.
Well, I know. Well, most of them
morbid.
7th floor. Well, when you say 7th floor...
It's tall still. Are you about to say it's not that high?
No, it doesn't sound that high. I get it.
A fence onto grass is, high enough to break bones.
No, I get that, but it just doesn't... when you go to Vegas and you're on the 7th floor, you're it doesn't seem that high. You can still see all the stuff going on. When you're in Vegas on the 30th floor... That's insane. I don't know. I was just making a point. She's from the highest.
All right.
I don't know. It doesn't make a difference, but I'll go back. A still unidentified woman jumped from her 12th floor window onto the Cecil's 2nd floor roof. What? Is that a different roof for the 2nd floor? Oh, I get it.
Like a landing.
Yeah.
Well, landing's not
the
right word to use, I guess. But whatever.
No. She had registered at the hotel on December 16th. And, wait, that's it? That's all I wrote. I'm sorry. On December 20th, 1975, we talked a lot about one sentence. On December 20th, 1975, a still unidentified woman jumped from her 12th floor window onto the Cecil's 2nd floor roof. She had registered at the hotel on December 16th. What's that point of that? She stayed 4 days and then decided to jump. I don't know. All seemed quiet for the next 38 years until February 19th, 2013. All of you may have heard the story. It was when the naked body of Elisa Lamb, a 21-year-old Canadian student, was found inside one of the water supply tanks on the hotel roof.
Oh, is this the one that the video was circulating?
Yeah. Lamb had gone missing 3 weeks earlier, on January 31st, 2013. After guests had complained about low water pressure and water that tasted fine. What are you drinking? Why are you drinking tap water anyways? This is California.
Isn't tap water fine?
Do you drink tap water?
I mean, no, because I have a filtered water thing in my refrigerator.
But would you drink tap water? No, you would drink bottled water.
If I was there's a million times where I'm at hotels with my friends and didn't grab water on the way in and we're drinking and want water out of the tap.
No, that's out of desperation. People are not sitting there drinking. I mean, I guess it's a hotel where they pay $14 a night, so I don't know.
Wait, really?
No, it's really cheap. That was the 80s. It was $14, but
okay.
No, it's really, really cheap, and clearly these people are not probably at Ralph's buying bottled water. But I can imagine they had said that the water tasted funny, and it was the color. The color was off. And after the guests had complained, a maintenance worker had checked one of the rooftop water tanks and found her naked body in the tank. Authorities later ruled Lamb's death as an accidental drowning.
I don't get that.
No, we're going to come back to this. Video surveillance footage taken from inside an elevator shortly before her disappearance showed Lamb acting strangely, pressing multiple elevator buttons, hiding in the corner of an elevator, and waving her arms wildly, causing widespread speculation that the cause of her death... just caused wild speculation. Whoa. About the cause of her death. That's the end of the sentence. I don't know what just happened. After the elevator video was made public, many theories arose about Lamb's death. Lamb was reported to have bipolar disorder, for which she was prescribed various medications, which could have contributed to her death as well as her strange behavior in the elevator. And then again, on June 13th, 2015, we're going to actually go back to the Lisa Lamb story. On June 13th, 2015, the body of a 28-year-old man was found outside the hotel. Some conjectured that he may have committed suicide by jumping from the hotel, like, everybody else. Though a spokesperson for the county coroner's office informed the Los Angeles Times that the cause of death has not been determined.
That's, how, all hotels you go to, even on the second floor of hotels, they have the windows locked. You can't open them. Is that, the only hotel? It's 2015.
No, it's built in 1924.
But still, isn't that a state code thing?
Maybe in Las Vegas for your gambling and drinking.
No, I think it's everywhere.
Wait, no. The older hotels, have you never stayed in the old hotels in San Diego and stuff where they have regular, normal operating windows?
No.
I guess people would go to a hotel and do that rather than do it at home, or that they need the height. Their house is only one story. I don't know.
Well, I think that's why they started locking hotel windows, is because...
Well, I know that's what they did in Las Vegas. That's 100% why they did in Las Vegas. There's high emotions, people drinking, losing all their money. So, yeah, that's definitely why I didn't know. I don't know about other places. I don't know. Tell us if you've ever been to a hotel that had windows that actually opened on, the 12th floor.
I've never experienced that.
Which, again, doesn't seem that high to me.
You're insane.
I don't. And I'm terrified of heights. But when you say, if I check into a hotel and they tell me I'm on the 7th floor or the 12th floor, I'm fine. If they tell me I'm on the 34th floor, I'm like, nope.
It's all high. 12th is just...
You think 12th floor is high, and you're not afraid of heights.
No. But I understand the distance from where I'm at to the ground. I understand the repercussions of jumping out a 12
Clearly, I don't get
window.
More than 20 deaths have been associated with the Cecil, although that's not the end of the creep factor. It actually gets creepier. Richard Ramirez, the infamous Night Stalker, terrorized Los Angeles in the mid-1980s. Ramirez was a visible presence on Skid Row in the months before he was arrested. For a time, he actually lived at the Cecil, where rooms were as cheap as $14 a night. A hotel clerk at the Cecil remembers Ramirez. The man said he is certain that it was Ramirez that lived on the 14th floor for several weeks in late July and again in August for 2 weeks. The night clerk who lived in a room on the same floor said he had a few brief conversations with Ramirez and said Ramirez had told him he was from Mexico. He said the men did not know each other by name, and he said that Ramirez liked to play rock and roll music on his hotel room radio. Ramirez was well known... Now, get this. It's so scary. Ramirez was well known for leaving his bloody clothes in the hotel dumpster after a murder and walking through the lobby partially undressed. It didn't raise any eyebrows in the sketchy neighborhood. It's also believed that he committed a large number of the murders while living at the Cecil. Now, that goes back to the guy walking in Pershing Square with blood all over him. No one...
Well, I don't know if they mean by well-known, everyone saw him take off a bloody shirt and throw it in the dumpster. I think they mean now it's well-known, but what they're saying is everyone did know that he was walking around without clothes on.
And, it was nothing. No one thought...
Have you been driving through Skid Row?
No, I have. Have you been there recently?
Yeah.
That's where, there's actual fashionable... We'll go back to the word fashionable... bars and things at now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've just driven by, and every time we drive by, we're like, keep driving. Because you know it's scary, yeah. And there are people walking around without shirts. It's homeless people.
And you see all the hotels and stuff down there. Have you never noticed the Cecil Hotel?
No, I have, but it's not called the Cecil anymore.
No, it was called the
Stay. Yeah, so I've never, I've seen it, and I think us driving by, you've probably said what it is, but I've never registered as
never really looked at it.
No, and to me, it's just the lady in the water tower. That's all.
Oh, yeah, so you didn't know
that's the
all the stuff that were... That's a lot. I get that people go to hotels and take their own life so they don't have to do it at home and for their loved ones and things like that, but I've never heard of another hotel that has had this... granted, it's been open 90 years or whatever it is, 90 years. I've never heard of a hotel that's had this many.
No, not to be known for it.
No, and it gets worse. Okay, so Richard Ramirez stayed there all while he was, killing people and walking around half naked because he threw his bloody clothes in the trash can. But also Australian serial killer Jack Unterweger supposedly stayed at the Cecil in the early 1990s. Unterweger is thought to have chosen to stay at the Cecil in like a homage to Ramirez. Like, he stayed there purposefully. This guy's a creep, too. We actually probably should do a show on him because he was found guilty of committing murders. He did 15 years. I want to say he killed 3 people. He did 15 years. And then a bunch of people were writing in and saying, let him go. He's done his time.
Are you kidding me?
No, they did. Like, no, even when a politician had done it. And please release him. They released him. And he became sort of a celebrity. Like, he went on ride-alongs with the police. And he did, like, a documentary about serial killing and things like that. And then ended up killing more people. People.
He's a murderer.
I know, but we'll actually maybe come back to him on another episode and talk to him, but...
Talk to him?
No,
I'd rather not.
Talk about him, because I've never heard that story, actually, until recently. What it says that I found, he said he became a journalist and a minor celebrity, but within months started killing again. After being convicted of an additional 9 murders, 3 of which occurred in Los Angeles while he was staying at the Cecil Hotel. He committed suicide by hanging himself in prison once he was convicted a second time. We're doing the same thing again.
Yeah.
And last but not least, in 1947, we're kind of out of sequential order, but there's a reason for that. Elizabeth Short, also known as the Black Dahlia, was last seen alive at the Cecil Hotel. Now, this is conjecture. People dispute that this happened, but when people came forward during the investigation, several people had said that they had seen her at the Cecil Hotel.
I don't know much about the Black Dahlia. Later, that can be another episode too.
Yeah, I want to do an episode about the Black Dahlia really bad, and tell us if you want to hear that. We did a poll on Instagram, and 79% of the people polled had said that they'd already knew the story of the Black Dahlia. So if that's not something that you know, or it's something that you want us to delve deeper into, we'll be happy to do a story on Elizabeth Short. Short went missing on January 9th and was found on the 15th of January 1947. Her tortured and naked body was sheared in half at her midsection and left in a vacant lot in Los Angeles. Her body was completely drained of blood and posed intricately. Elizabeth Short was nicknamed the Black Dahlia by the media. Short's murder is still one of the unsolved mysteries in Los Angeles. It's a gnarly story.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
You really didn't?
No, I mean, I've heard the Black... every time Halloween
there's a band
or something, you, hear about the Black Dahlia as, this, story. But I don't know anything about it.
There's been, I want to say, 4 books written, and 2 of them claim that their fathers were the murderer.
And she's tied into this because people said she stayed at the Cecil.
Yeah, well, she was from Los Angeles, so, she had spent time in downtown Los Angeles, so it's not that far-fetched
that she was there at one point.
That she was there at one point, yeah. As imagined, the hotel is the site of many activities people deem paranormal. Although I have yet to hear of an actual paranormal team being authorized to do an investigation there, many have booked rooms and went on covert missions to capture scientific evidence.
You know what I just thought of just now? And I don't know that I necessarily believe in any of this, paranormal thing, but don't, people normally say when there's, a high level of, suicides or, killings in one area that it's, supposed to be, a paranormal reason?
Well, that might be something to ask someone who's more versed in paranormal. I mean, I do research for our paranormal team, but I think that there's a lot of people that believe that there's a portal there, that there's some kind of... I mean, everyone's go-to when anything is haunted or things like this happen is it was built on an Indian burial ground. You ever hear that? I mean, even yeah,
but what's an Indian burial ground that holds all this craziness?
I don't know. I don't know what... I'd be curious to know what was in that area of Los Angeles before 1924. I mean... That's a lot of death and mayhem and murder.
For one hotel.
For one location.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people taking their own lives. I mean, is there something... I mean, you hear...
Well, because, you watch that video of...
Elizabeth, or Elisa.
Elisa, that we'll talk about again. And it's she looks she's not acting normal. You would think that some outside force is causing that.
You do think that? You don't think it has to do with her, a psychiatric
Well,
break?
I don't know. I can't really talk
break?
About that. I don't know anything about, mental illnesses. But, I don't think bipolar disorder Is it bipolar just like a mood thing? Schizophrenia?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen anywhere that she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And I don't know enough about the psychological field to know the difference, but in the video, well, let's talk about that. It says, let's start with the most recent mystery is Elisa Lam.
Yeah.
Because that's still technically unsolved. I think that the coroner and the police deemed it as suicide, right? Accidental drowning.
Accidental drowning.
Yeah.
So but whatever, I don't know. Elisa Lam's disappearance had been widely reported. Interest had increased 5 days prior to her body's discovery when the Los Angeles Police Department released a video of the last time she was seen. It was on the day of her disappearance by an elevator security camera. In the footage, Lam is seen exiting and re-entering the elevator, talking and gesturing in the hallway outside, and sometimes seeming to hide within the elevator, which itself appears to be malfunctioning. The video went viral on the internet, with many viewers reporting that they found it unsettling, which I totally did. I was uncomfortable watching it. Like, I don't know if I could watch it again.
Really?
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
No, I kind of want to watch it again. I actually watched it recently, but I would watch it again because I think...
Like, after reading more about it?
Yeah, because I think the first time I watched it, I was convinced that it was, like, a psychotic break.
Yeah.
Because I had read that her parents said that she was bipolar. But her behavior is more, like we were saying, more schizophrenic. From what I know.
Uneducated people.
Yeah, I'm 100% uneducated about mental health. Her behavior is, like, she sees something. She's talking to something, and then she's hiding from something.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it. That's why it makes me uncomfortable.
But does she seem...
I don't know. I don't remember how it ends. I don't remember how the video ends.
She just disappears.
She just runs back out of the elevator?
She doesn't run. She's just outside the elevator, and then she's not. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't remember.
We should probably watch it again.
So the explanations range from claims of paranormal involvement to bipolar disorder, from which Lam suffered, which we talked about. If you haven't seen the video, it will be linked in our show's episode page on hauntinghistorypodcast.com. So definitely go watch that.
If you haven't seen it, I can't imagine there's people who haven't seen this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if you don't know about the Cecil Hotel, you probably don't know about Elisa Lam, but...
yeah, it's creepy.
Her parents, I was going to tell you too, her parents actually tried to sue the hotel.
For what?
Negligence.
Because she somehow got up to the water tank and accidentally drowned.
And that's going to say, doors and stairs that had, that access the hotel's roof are locked. Only staff having passcodes and keys. Any attempt to force them would supposedly have triggered an alarm. However, the hotel's fire escape could have allowed her to bypass those security measures if she or someone was with her, I guess, had known that.
So, just completely speculating. It could have been, she could have actually been murdered.
Right.
Not an accident, and the person who murdered her would have had to have been
Well, this
staff.
is what... No. Oh.
Right? Are they saying that?
I didn't even go there.
But aren't they
No, I don't
that?
think that's what they're saying. No, that's really weird.
But they're saying, like, to have access there. Like, only staff has access.
Unless they went up the fire escape. I mean, she's little. Do you see how tiny she was? Someone could have just thrown her over their shoulders and climbed a ladder. I mean, how hard would it have been to climb a fire escape? Again, uneducated. We don't have fire escapes where we live, so I don't even know if I've seen one in real life. California doesn't typically have fire escapes.
Every time I think of fire escapes, I think of that episode of Friends, where
Pretty Woman.
Ross and Joey. No, I'm too young for that. When Ross and Joey are on the fires, they're like trying to get out of the room or something, out of the apartment, and Ross has to like climb down Joey because the fire escape.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember. That's the thing too. Is like, not only did she get up there, say she got up there via the fire escape. How did she get into the tank? It took maintenance workers a ladder to get up there to find her body in the first place.
Well, that's because it was someone that worked
And again, how they lift the lid, and even more mysterious, how they put the lid back on. How did she get naked? Where are her clothes? They don't talk anything about her clothes. Did she walk out of the hotel completely butt naked? Walk outside, go to the fire escape? Which I didn't think fire escapes actually reach the ground. Every time I've seen one in a movie...
Well, yeah.
Richard
Ross had
Gere...
to climb down Joey.
Richard Gere had to use an umbrella and pulled it down and then kind of like jumped up and pulled himself up to get up on it. Like how she just like monkeyed up the fire escape butt naked.
I don't know. In the condition that she's in that elevator video, it doesn't seem like she could climb up a fire escape, open a heavy door to a water tank, and get inside it.
Well, climb the fire escape, climb the tank, lift the lid, which I think was locked. Oh no, they're locked now. Lift the tank, climb inside, and pull the tank lid closed. And the funny thing, not funny, there's nothing funny about this, I don't mean it that way. The weird thing is that they had police dogs, like the sniffing dogs, all over the roof. And no one, they didn't smell anything about her. Does that mean she was carried?
Oh, they didn't pick up her scent.
They didn't. They didn't sniff anything about her, but yeah, that's probably the terminology I should have used.
Okay.
They did not pick up her scent, which I find really weird. But this is another thing I don't know about mysteries and crimes and unsolved things. If she's carried, do the dogs not pick up the scent?
I don't know. I mean, if someone is like picked up in a car and taken, the scent goes away. So would that be the same thing?
Oh. See, that's why you're here. I don't know.
It's because I am obsessed with true crime and missing and disappearance things. I know all about it.
I mean, it's weird. They specifically say in all the newspapers that the dogs did not pick up her scent, and they had been on the roof. So how did she get up there? I don't really know. And I was saying that the parents tried to sue for negligence. Her family was convinced that her mental illness was well managed with medication. And, in fact, they attempted to sue the hotel. A judge dismissed the lawsuit because he said it occurred in an area of the former, they call it the former Cecil Hotel now, where guests are not allowed. But how did she get on the roof, climb the ladders, lift the lid by herself? Not only that, how did she put the lid back by herself is what I wrote. But, they actually tried to sue for negligence, I guess, because there were not locks on the water tank.
I mean, as a family of someone who's died, I get that, but, like, also, I don't think she was accidental. I don't think it was I don't think she walked up there and did it herself. No, I don't think that either.
So many stories online about paranormal experience at the hotel. A simple YouTube search of the Cecil will give you pages of videos to watch. People have posted stories of being woken up. This is kind of transitioned really weird, but we went from Eliza Lamb, which people 100% believe was paranormal, that she was interacting with something unseen, that it had nothing to do with her mental illness. And the other stories are that people report of being woken up to feelings of someone choking them, of seeing dark shadows in hallways, and a sound of crying in the night. Like, I can't imagine the crying in the night. I mean, how many people killed themselves?
A lot.
16, I think.
In total?
16 killed themselves, and then there were more. There were murders. The poor guy that got landed on, and then the other guy that got smashed between the building and a truck.
And Elisa.
And the Goldie Pigeon lady got murdered. So I think there was 15 or 16. So yeah, the crying I'm not surprised by. I mean, the building itself has to be crying. Like, I know that sounds really dramatic, but...
It's so dramatic.
I know, but it's true. There's so much death and horror that have happened in this hotel. I mean, how can one space hold all that energy? If anything, the energy has to be just horribly negative in that building.
Yeah.
It can't be like, oh, like, we're on vacation, let's go stay at the Cecil. Like, you don't.
Well, no.
Why would you? There's not even a pool. Or bathrooms. There's no bathroom. There's bathrooms. Like, they share bathrooms in the hotel.
No.
So it's not really a place you would go stay anyways. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like when they reopen it. They bought it for $30 million. They clearly know what they're doing. So maybe it will be the opulent hotel that they intended it to be back in 1924.
I don't know. That's another interesting thing. Like, paranormal people say that when you start renovating something that has that much...
I know. I want to go talk to the construction workers.
Because it's supposed to conjure up all this crazy stuff when you start messing with it.
Right.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know how that goes.
It would be interesting to go down there and stand out front and ask all the construction workers as they come out.
Yeah, because the construction workers are going to be super...
No, that's actually happened to me before. I went in Old Town Orange. They were rebuilding the original hotel in Old Town Orange that is now Wahoo's restaurant. And I went and talked to the construction workers, and they all told me that none of them will stay after dark, that they're done at dark, and they've heard noises and things like that, and all of them are very creeped out. And in fact, most of them didn't know why they were creeped out until I told them it was one of the first hotels, and it was a sanitarium where people died.
Maybe
it was supposed to be a hotel, and then it turned into a sanitarium.
I don't know. Maybe you would get in.
So maybe we should go down there and hang out with some construction workers, see what happens. So if you do a quick search on YouTube, there'll be videos to watch of all the haunting that goes on there. There's actually a picture, and I'm going to try and put it on our website. I'm not certain if I can because it might belong to someone. But if you Google it, Google ghost in window at the Cecil Hotel. I cannot figure out that picture at all. You can find it by searching for Ghost in the Window at the Cecil and clicking on images. The history of the Cecil Hotel is not over yet. With a projected opening date just a year away, we have just a little bit to wait to see if the murder and mayhem continue. Thank you for listening to this episode of Haunting History Podcast. Be sure to follow, like, and comment on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Haunting History Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen. Visit our website at hauntinghistorypodcast.com for more information on each episode. Until next time, I'm Kat, and remember, the living are far scarier than any ghost.